everyone, welcome back to my channel. Been kind of busy because it's been the school holidays, so kind of bit of a lack of opportunity for crafting and for doing videos. So I'm just kind of stealing a little bit of time this morning. Hopefully this will go okay, but unfortunately I'm even more disorganized than last time, so I haven't got a clue really what we're going to do. But I thought these kind of, or this like series of process videos, we'll do this journal together. So this was the journal that we did last time, where we did these 3 pages, and I thought we'll stick with that theme. And so I haven't touched this journal since, so it's all kind of as was, so we can literally work on each time I do a video. I will try and craft in this particular journal, so we've kind of made it together. So I noticed people call these process videos craft with me, so we'll call this a craft with me kind of process video. So yeah, let's get in. So yeah, don't know really what I'm going to do or which page I even fancy doing. I've got some stuff kind of laid out roughly where I think I might have things, and I've obviously painted some of the pages in pink ready, so that they kind of go with the theme here. So perhaps we'll just crack on with this one, kind of just see where it takes us. So I have a bunch of stuff here laid out kind of in readiness, and we'll just kind of play around and see what looks good and what comes together, shall we? So I hope everyone's doing well and having a nice kind of Easter break, if you're at home, that is, kind of, and not at work and things this Easter. Obviously last weekend was Easter weekend. It was nice, and now the kids have obviously been at home, and actually on the whole they're kind of okay and self-sufficient, but my daughter, who's not at school yet, she obviously normally goes to play school, kind of, it's a morning and an afternoon that I get kind of 3 hours a week without her, and that's when I've been doing my process video, but she's not been there this week, so and she's not there next week, so she obviously is the one who kind of obviously needs a bit more entertainment than obviously my boys, who are kind of a bit older. So yeah, so on this page I've cut out this one. If you watched the other video, and we are kind of doing this along together, we were doing the Old Mother Goose storybook. So what I'm going to do is chop this down slightly because it's actually a little bit too big for the book that I'm using. Let's see, needs to come down slightly more, so I'll chop it this side now. So what are you guys all doing while we're doing these videos? I had a really nice message from one of my subscribers who said she really enjoyed the last video, and she was sat fussy cutting kind of whilst watching, and it's really fun to kind of like hear what you're doing and then think that we genuinely really are crafting together. That makes it feel really really good fun, I think. So hope you're all having a nice time, and perhaps you're working on a journal, or doing some fussy cutting. I love fussy cutting, don't you? Kind of a bit addictive. So I'm kind of thinking that maybe here, as you can tell, I'm kind of out of sorts now because I haven't really been doing much crafting this week, so now I'm struggling to kind of put things together today. But I've brought along a bunch of things that I thought were quite nice and would go. So here I've got an envelope which has got a principle on it and some book page layered up, and then obviously kind of the top is a pocket, which actually I should have punched a thumb hole, but I unfortunately forgot, and I haven't got my circle punch with me, so I'll have to do that kind of off screen. But I thought just the colours went really nicely, particularly as I'm kind of mixing it with these flowers, and I just thought it went really lovely with those. So that's why I've included that, or decided to include that in this journal. So obviously that takes kind of most of that page up, so there's not really a great deal of room left for kind of anything else much. But I've brought along, obviously, you know, the lace trim. So, I mean, literally what I did after the last process video with this journal, I left all of these things all on the, you know, this glass worktop saver that I use, so that I could just grab it and, you know, when I next got a chance to come down to my son's desk and kind of do one of these videos. So it was all there ready with everything. And then I've just added to it, as we crafters tend to do. So as I kind of found things during the week, I thought, oh, that might be good, that might be good, that might be good. So, yeah, that's what's going on there. So I quite like this. This is just a piece of just scrapbooking paper that I've just coffee dyed and cut a section out. That really goes quite nicely, I think, with kind of, again, the flowers. So what I'll do is kind of form a pocket here. So I'm wondering whether to kind of double layer that on top of something else, or whether to just stick it down. What we could do, I've got this buff coloured card. This was from one of those expanding file folder things. We could make a little folding kind of booklet and kind of pop that in like that. And it could still be a pocket, obviously, at the back. That might be quite nice. So perhaps we could do that. Yeah, maybe that would be quite nice. So I've got my, you know, corner rounder punch. So just punch that in here. Like that. There we go. I just kind of pop that onto there. And then, right, let's hope that my glue is working. Again, I think it was Denise who said she uses this glue also, but it doesn't always come out so easily. I have to say, mine doesn't either, and today's going to be one of those days. And I haven't got a needle or anything with me, so... and I've said before, I don't know how to join these things, so I'm not sure now. Might have to leave you all while I quickly run and get a needle to unclog my glue. And I didn't want to have to do that, but I don't know how to actually join two pieces of film together on my iPad, so can I squeeze it out? No, I can't. I wonder if I have anything else that I could use. I might have one of those stick pins, I think, here in my little tin of embellishments that I like to bring along. I think I've got a stick pin. Yay! Saves me having to just leave you all sat here watching a blank desk, which really dull. There we go. Hurrah! So, unclog the glue. But I was just determined to try and get on and do a video because I've kind of missed doing them, and actually I want to kind of try and keep up with my channel kind of as much as possible, you know, because it's kind of a bit of a shame if then it goes by the wayside every time the school holidays come up. So, right. Hope that I'm in frame. Last time I did say that the camera was, or the iPad was a little bit on the low side. So this time I have piled it on some books. So I'm hoping it's a bit better. But unfortunately, the downside of doing that means I couldn't really see it that brilliantly before, but I can see it even less now. So I really can't tell if I'm actually in frame. I'm just really praying that I am. So we've got that like that. Let's just hold it here for a minute or two, just to make sure it's really stuck nicely. And then might need a bit more glue kind of up near the corners. Hate it when the glue kind of doesn't go to the edges and then it doesn't look like it's kind of stuck properly. I'll just put a bit more there. I like them really kind of to the edges. And we've also been decorating this week, so we've decorated our kitchen. It's not quite finished, but it's getting there. So I've got a dresser which I bought a few years ago, which was a pine dresser, and I'd painted it kind of ivory creamy colour as soon as we got it a few years ago, and we've now done our kitchen kind of more grey. So I've been painting the dresser in grey to kind of match the new decor in the kitchen. So also been quite busy with that. And then this morning I got up really early and was kind of making some, not really curtains, but a kind of helmety thing for the window anyway. Sounds awful, but it kind of looks quite nice. Unfortunately, the window's 2.1 metres and I couldn't find a blind kind of big enough, a Roman blind. They all seem to stop at 1.83 and that wasn't obviously big enough. Now, I've now made this, I think, a little bit too long for this page, so let me just check. So what I could do is put this actually on this side, because then obviously, because this is the page, oh, how would I describe that? Kind of going in rather than coming out, it kind of has a little bit more room there. Does that make sense? I hope that makes sense. So I'm going to do that instead, which means obviously this one will have to go on this page. And isn't it weird how I don't actually like it so much that way round, but you know, that's kind of how it is. And then what I could do, because this was an old gymnastics book. It is vintage, it's from the 50s, I think it was. I just can't remember now. I did say on the original video and now I can't remember, but so it is a vintage book. I mean, not hugely old, but you know, a good 50 years, 50 plus years. And yeah, so here it just says the floor exercises, so I'll just try and cover that up. So we could have it like that. That looks quite nice to me. And I've also brought along a bit of the ruffles that I've done. So this was again more of that lovely mustard colour from my daughter's dress. So I thought this may go nicely with these flowers, which I think it does. Unfortunately, I don't think it actually goes very well with this background colour of this paper. So I thought it was going to go nicely, but I don't like it so much now I'm actually here with the book. So I've also brought along some of this ribbon. So this was kind of a bright pink gathered ribbon. And I have coffee dyed this. So I thought, again, this goes perfectly with these flowers. So that may look quite sweet at the bottom of the page. So perhaps we'll have that. And then perhaps we could, I'm going to move that off the page for the minute. Perhaps we could tie some string around here to kind of hold that closed for a little bit more kind of interest. So I'll do that. Yeah, so what I was saying was about the decorating. So we've decorated, and I love kind of interior design and kind of, you know, I'm not trying to get myself at it there going, oh, interior designer. I don't class myself an interior designer, obviously. But I'm interested in, you know, kind of I love flicking through interior design magazines. I mean, you know, things like that. And I kind of thought, actually, I think that's why I love crafting and junk journaling and scrapbooking and things like that, because it's a bit like it. You know, kind of you can't constantly be decorating your house. I'm going to glue this on here. I'll just glue that on the back. Yeah, you can't constantly be decorating your house, but obviously this is kind of a similar concept, because you're choosing pretty colours, putting them together. You know, you're kind of effectively designing and choosing kind of, you know, where like in a room you may choose fabrics and wallpaper and curtains and, you know, bedding, what have you. Obviously, you know, in crafting, you're kind of effectively doing the same thing. So I think that's why I quite like it. So I've glued the string onto the back of there, and then I'm just going to put that to one side. And then what I'm going to do is distress this page. So my stuff's really messy today. I mean, it's always quite messy, but because I kind of rushed to cram this in, I'm even worse than normal. So you have to excuse all of my mess here. Hopefully you can't really see too much of it, because it would be, I'm sure, not great to be watching. And a bit distracting to be watching, but yeah, very messy today. Very messy, very disorganised. I'm also going to try and do a video later. I have managed to kind of cram in doing another journal this week, which I kind of started previously. I've just, in snippets of time, kind of managed to, you know, kind of get it finished. So I'm hopefully going to list that on my Etsy later and do a video of that later. And I also got some lovely Happy Mail, so I haven't opened that yet, but yeah, hopefully kind of, you know, can share that. So, and obviously I might not load these videos in order, so I might be talking about utter rubbish, because obviously depending how I load these, they might not have any relevance to the other things, so you have to bear that in mind a bit. Right, so that's like that. And then actually what I also brought along for this journal were, I've got these gorgeous little die cut pieces of ephemera, which I can't remember whether I mentioned this last time or not, but I thought again they went really nice with the really nicely with the fussy cut flowers. And these are just from Kaisercraft. I love those Kaisercraft little ephemera pieces. I think they're so pretty, and they do obviously all sorts, a whole different variety. And I thought these ones, it's a whole packet that I've got here, which you know, I could easily probably use you know, a good half the packet at least on this journal. But I thought it went quite nicely with the colours of the fussy cut flowers. I mean, that says Girls' Day, which obviously that's a bit specific for my liking. I didn't really want to have things saying that, but you know, I could always cover that word up. You know, kind of, I could find a word out of another book saying Great Day or something like that, you know. But yeah, I thought these were just really super nice, kind of with this this fussy cut flowers. Sorry, I'm just rambling now, and sorry. I might not do one of these again when I haven't properly got time, because it's probably too scatty and frustrating to actually watch it. But so in the Kaisercraft things were also these cute little teacups and teapots and things. So I thought again they added a really fun element to this journal. So I was just literally just dressing this up. That looks so cute. I mean, don't you just think that's so sweet? I really like it. So what I'm going to do, probably like that, I always like to lay my page out first before gluing. I think I said that before. Even if when I come to glue it, I don't actually glue identically to how I've kind of placed things, at least I roughly know kind of how it's going to be, instead of kind of not having the foggiest idea, you know. So, I mean, I could have that down there. So I think what I might do is glue these couple of elements on first, because sometimes it's actually quite easy if then you've got a couple of bits that aren't moving. So the bits that you know you're happy with. This is just how I like to do it. I'm not kind of saying all the bits you know you're happy with, i.e. you must do it like this. I'm not saying that at all. I just mean for me, I sometimes find it easier, you know, when I'm kind of then placing things, it's quite nice to actually stick one or two bits while I'm still deciding on the page, on the bits that I'm really happy with. Because then they're not moving around anymore. So I shall stick these flowers down. And what I'm going to do, I'm just going to stick it like this so that it could be a little tuck. If I wanted to put something underneath it, I don't know whether I do or I don't. But I can just pop it there and then decide later. So there we go. So just pop like that. Like that. And then what I'm going to do is just distress ink this, because although it's been coffee dyed, I don't think I had distress inked around it, so I'll just ink that up around the edges. And then obviously this is just a kind of opening booklet at the moment, but what you could do is obviously put more pages inside here. So, you know, that would be a good way to kind of get more journaling space into the book. So I'm just playing around now, kind of seeing what I like. I quite like having the cup there. Sounds a bit strange and random, but I think that looks really quite pretty there. Really would like to have some of this nice pink ribbon somewhere, but I can't decide at the moment. Do I have it here, kind of on the edge of here, but then I'm not over keen on this kind of plain looking bit at the bottom. So let's just see whether I could kind of put anything down there. What about that would be okay actually, if I could find another word later to replace that girls with. So I could just kind of have happy day or something. So I'll just distressing around that, because I mean obviously these come, you know, perfect and crisp and nice. So, and you know, that's really nice, but that's not the look I'm wanting here. So I could have that there, and that just kind of for me just makes it look a little bit better straight away. And then I could have that there. So I think that's what I'm going to do. So I'm going to glue the cup on. I love cups of tea. I don't know about you. I know, you know, I've got a friend who lives in America. She was from England and she moved to America. I know she loves her cups of tea. I don't know really whether generally in America, I think perhaps coffee is kind of more the drink. Now what I could do is pop some string on here, and probably what would have been good would have been an eyelet, but unfortunately I haven't got my eyelets or anything with me. I'm just having a look. No, I haven't really got anything I could use. So perhaps I'll just kind of pop that there. I'm just having a think. Let me just get the string back, because if I think it looks really great with string, I might have to just stick that on in, you know, after. Just try and get kind of a little picture of how that would look with string. That is quite cute, I must admit. Well, let's try and just go for it. Just see how that works without an eyelet. So I'll just do it like this. And if the worst comes to the worst and anything happens, I can always cut that off and just make it a bit of a shorter kind of banner. And cut the string here. Like that. Oops. There we go. Oh, that looks so cute, I think. You know, obviously I don't expect everyone to just agree or anything. So I quite like that down there. So I'm going to stick that on. And what I will do, I will glue right up here and onto the string as well. So it's hopefully kind of stuck everywhere and hasn't got a kind of gaping bit at the end. So I shall stick that just like that. And this is what I mean about kind of when you place things and then you glue them, you know, I can't actually remember whether I had it kind of pointing down slightly or pointing up. But, you know, it's just to kind of get a rough idea, really. So I think that looks really cute there. And then what I'm going to do is just pop a bit of this lace just on the edge here. So I'll just take this round here and just literally run with glue down the edge. And actually I have got my hot glue gun here plugged in, so I could have hot glued this down, but I'll just go with the wet glue now. Just checking that I've got the right side of the lace. And by that I just mean, you know, so the stitching's not kind of the back of the stitching. So that's that. Oh, can't seem to stick that down. And I've got some bulldog clips actually with me, so I might actually hold that shut. Oops, I think I've dropped them all over the floors. Just hold on a second, because otherwise I can't reach them. So hopefully I won't leave you for hours, like when I would have had to go to get the needle, but I just needed to pick them up, because otherwise I couldn't actually reach them. So, right, let's pop that on there. This was why I should have used the hot glue, obviously. You see, last time, even though I wasn't, you know, wasn't especially organised, I was a bit more organised, because I kind of was thinking through enough to think, well, I'm on video actually just use the hot glue for things like lace trim. This time I'm obviously not organised enough. So cut that off here. Okay, so hopefully that'll stick in a minute. So I'll just leave that for a few minutes before we stick that down. So while that's drying, I'm going to move on to the next page. So the facing page, I'm going to distress ink around it first so as it's kind of blending in. And a bit much ink there, so I'm just going to do it a bit on that page as well. Like that. Okay. Right, so, and obviously I haven't been too fussy about how that's distressed, because obviously most of this is actually going to be covered up anyway. You know, it really is kind of more, you know, just so the edge bits are kind of distressed. So do we like this envelope here on this page? Because I mean, I think this just goes really nicely with like the cups and the flowers. So even though it's not part of the Mother Goose rhyme, I like the look of these images with it. So I think that kind of picks it up and brings something out with it, you know, that looks really nice. So if I was to have that here, I mean, as I said, obviously this is quite large for the page, which I think is a bit of a shame, because, you know, don't necessarily want my whole page kind of taken over with it. So what I could do is actually cut it down here and make it slightly smaller. So if I was to do that, let's just see how that would kind of be. Yeah, I kind of prefer it like that. So what I'm going to do, I'm actually going to cut it, let me think. I'm going to cut it here. So I'm going to cut a corner off. And then, you know, like if you're making the tag, I'm going to cut the other corner off, so hopefully they're the same. Like that. Oops. And then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to fold this down inside. So I just, and again, I'm all fingers and thumbs now doing it here on camera, but I'm going to cut, so I've folded it forward at the moment so that I can get to the back of the envelope and cut it. So I've just cut the back off like that. And then what I'm going to do is fold this one inside, so as to tuck it in. Oops. Now the reason I'm doing that is just so that when I do my thumb hole, the envelope is slightly thicker and stronger. I've only recently started doing that because once or twice I did notice that they weren't, you know, very strong, which was a bit of a shame really. But you know, we kind of live and learn, don't we? So what I might do now is just re-stamp a couple of bits, because obviously that had kind of much more corner stamped on there. So let me find my Stays On ink, which is here. And again, I'm not going to be too fussy. I just literally want to kind of pick up a little bit more. So I'm going to do it, I'll use this little scrap of the buff coloured card so I don't get it on the book. Just going to literally stamp here. You know, it doesn't have to be kind of perfect or anything. It literally is just so that I've got a continuum of the stamping really. So I much prefer that being kind of a bit smaller. Hopefully, you know, hopefully you will do too. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to stick this flap, I'm going to stick down. So I just get my wet glue, oops, and just stick that down inside there. And then, as I say, I will hopefully, if I remember, do a thumb hole. So unless I get distracted as soon as I come out of this room, which obviously at the moment has the door shut and my husband's with my daughter, unless I come out of here and then get bombarded and then completely forget, I will hopefully remember to put a thumb hole there. So that's that. Just thought that's looking a little bit bright, so I'm just going to put a bit more there. Okay. So I prefer that being that length. Now I've got obviously flowers, so we could have extra flowers, or you know, we maybe might have enough flowers there. I brought along some of these, which I just include some of these sometimes in my kits. They're just literally Hessian. This one's got a bit of fabric and lace and some buttons stitched on. I like things like that sometimes, kind of just on the corners or the edge of pages. That looks quite cute. So I quite like that. I've obviously got some lace trim here with me, so I could kind of put the lace trim somewhere. So what I might do is just cut a bit of lace to kind of see what I think. So I could have a bit of lace down there, because actually I haven't got much pink down there. And then I could have that kind of layered up there, maybe in the corner. Quite like that. I've got a little hot air balloon. Love those. So I could have a hot air balloon somewhere, kind of on the picture. That's quite nice. Or I've got some butterflies in my little tin here. And this is just my little tin of things that, you know, I kind of bring down for these videos, since I've done a couple. So I quite like that, although actually I feel like that clashes a little bit weirdly with those, so not sure. Maybe I prefer some butterflies that I've stamped. Now I've also got, from that same little ephemera pack from the Kaisercraft, the little teapots. Now I do really like the teapot, and obviously because I've got the teacup over here, I think that's kind of cute. So I might have to have the teacup, the teapot somewhere. What do you reckon? Like that? And I've also brought along some bows. I can see one poking out underneath. Oh no, that one wasn't. No, I'm pretty sure I brought some bows along, and now I won't be able to find them. Oh, yeah, I have got one here. Actually, I've got some little satin flowers back again in my tin. It might be it's a bit too bright, but actually I quite like that. And then I've got this cute little bow here that I made, obviously. Could just have the bow somewhere. Yeah, I mean, I'm quite liking that page actually. Because this page has got this large section of yellow, I feel like this needs to be a bit more pink. That's just my opinion, obviously. I don't know whether other people would necessarily agree, but I'm quite liking that. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to take the bulldog clips off of these, and I'm going to glue this down so that it's not moving and distracting me with the bulldog clips anymore. And obviously I've got the string on here. Now if I'm going to have this as a pocket as well, I would prefer to put a bit of paper over the string. I think I've said that before. So I might do that, but I'm just wondering, I have got a tuck spot up there. I wonder whether I really need that as a pocket as well. Well, it's good to have the pockets, isn't it? Because then you've always got options. So what I'm going to do is just cut a piece of paper. Now these are some more like a kind of dummy run of some you know, potential printables that I'm going to do. So I haven't obviously finished those yet, but that's a mock-up of them. So that was just obviously some paper from around the edge. So I just cut literally, you know, not perfect, but it's just literally to go over that string so that when you're putting things in and out, or if you do use it as a pocket, you're not obviously damaging the string and, you know, making that come up. So I just stick that like this over the top of the string. Get my Starbucks card again, and I just like to really press it into the string, whoops, and glue it down really kind of thoroughly like that. Now I'm just having a look at the time. As I say, I can't really see very well where the iPad actually is now, but we're 34 minutes, so I don't think we're going to be able to do much more than this today, so we'll probably just do these 2 pages. Right, okay, happy with that. So I'm going to glue this down like a pocket. So I'm just going to glue it literally 1, 2, like that, and 3 on those 3 sides, and just glue it like that. So I hope you're having fun, whatever it is that you decided to do, or even if you're just sat with your feet up with a cup of tea or coffee. You know, hope you're having a nice time. So I'm certainly having a nice time doing this, even if it does look like I'm a little bit disorganized and chaotic. I'm still having a nice time. So I'm just pressing that down. I'm going to undo the string, and then with my card just go really round and make sure it's properly glued in place there. There we go. Okay. Just hold it down here, because obviously this is a kind of vulnerable point here by the fold, because it's not so easy to, you know, press it down. So that's that one. And then this page, we're going to obviously put the thumb hole, if I remember. So I'm going to stick the lace trim down first. I just run a bit of glue along here, like that. There we go. Yeah, I've not actually even had a chance to do any kits this week, which is a bit annoying. I might be able to kind of get on with some things, you know, later on this week. I don't know, but we'll see. So like that, and then just distress the teapot. It was a bit distressed. I must have already done that, but I just do it a little bit more. And then do we like that kind of up here? Now, see, I quite like this here. What do you all think? And there, and the flower up there. I quite like that. Hopefully you all do as well. So I'm going to go for it, and I'm going to stick it down. And what I might do is leave this open as a pocket. So, and here was obviously where I had already done the envelope too long in the first place and not realised. So I'd folded it over and obviously glued it down. So I'm just going to glue, I'm going to glue on 3 sides. So along here, along this side, and then along here on the bottom. Just put a bit more glue along there. Okay. And I want that kind of right up next to the lace, like that. And then just press it down firmly. Like that. Make sure it's really stuck in the corners. So that's that one. And then what I'm going to do is then stick this with the hot glue actually. And what I might do is just trim off that excess, because that's a little bit kind of curling up at the sides. So that's better, I think. So I'm going to glue that on like that with just the hot glue. I just put a big dollop on there. Hopefully you could see that. And just put that on like this. I mean, I just think these look really cute, and yeah, kind of really like them. So that's that, and then I'm just going to have those there. Now, does everyone like that? Do we think that looks too cluttered? I mean, I quite like that. I hope everyone else does. I mean, what we also could have done was obviously could have, you know, tied a thread around there to just add interest, but obviously I haven't done that now, and it's too late because I've stuck it down now. But just kind of talking out loud, really, saying things, you know, alternatives that we could have done. So I'm going to glue on the teapot, so like that. It's raining again today. Just horrible weather. Had a lovely day on Thursday, I think it was. It was lovely and sunny and really bright and nice. And yeah, took the kids to the you know, arcades, to those 2-piece slot machine things. They love those. Not my eldest son. He's got like a Saturday job, so he was doing his you know, Saturday job during the school holidays, if you see what I mean. But took the other two. And we had a really nice day because it was lovely weather. And now we're back to the usual rain and miserable weather. Now I'm just going to stick that flower on there. So again, just check which is the right way for that. Because I'm using this bright light beside me for the camera, it's actually quite hard to see kind of what's the right way. Let me move back and see out of frame kind of. It's very hard to see, and perhaps you can all see it's probably coming through really well on, you know, off the camera, and you're probably saying, oh, what's wrong with her? But it's kind of like too glary under the light, so I actually can't really see properly. Right, stick that on there. So that's those 2 pages. Really like those. Hopefully I will remember and put the thumb hole. Yeah, hopefully I will remember, but no guarantees there. Do I want anything else? Should I have a little flower over this side to kind of tie in the bluey colour from here? Decisions. Nah, I'm going to leave it for today. Right, so that's probably kind of all there's time for now. Because obviously if I start a whole nother page, that's another kind of 20 or 30 minutes. So I think I have to leave it there and not be greedy with the time. So, and obviously not be greedy with all of you's time either. So, yeah. So thank you very much. Hope you've all had good fun. Hope you all, you know, were able to do a bit of crafting along with me as well at the same time. And I'm just going to leave all of this stuff, not on my son's desk, obviously, but on top of this glass worktop saver, so that next time we do a craft with me, we'll do this same journal again, so that hopefully we'll kind of complete the whole thing along together, which would be kind of really fun then. So, yeah. Hope that you enjoyed it, and thanks for watching. Have a great day. Thank you. Bye.